guys, welcome to TST Garage. I'm Bart, and today in this video, I'll be showing you how to install the TST Industries brake light modulator on your bike. Now, a brake light modulator, sometimes called a strobe, sometimes called a brake light flasher, what it does is basically enables you to install some electronics on your bike so that when you press your brakes, the brake light flashes in some kind of pattern and alerts the drivers behind you that you will be stopping. Our particular brake light modulator comes pre-wired to a plug that interfaces with a sub harness that we provide specific to your bike model that enables plug and play functionality with your bike. So that means that the installation is really fast and you can do it yourself. Now, the electronics inside, we do have the ability for you to program this unit to 3 different functions and then subsequently adjust the rate of the effect to your liking. Our first programmable mode is strobe-alert. This mode will produce 9 flashes and then stay solid for the duration of the brake engagement. Second one is intermittent pulsar. Each cycle will flash 10 times and then pause. And then these cycles will repeat for the duration of the brake engagement. The last available option is pulsar, and this one just basically provides continuous flashing for the duration of the brake engagement. Now we'll show you how to install this. It's really simple. And then after the installation chunk, I will show you in detail how to get inside here, how to program the different modes, and how to alter the rate of those different modes. We did think about the safety of such devices during the design phase. So we decided to design this in a way that it will be a pass-through component. In case you experience a failure on board here, it will just pass through your normal brake function, which means you press your brake light lights up, there's just no effect. In case you do experience that failure, we do offer a warranty, so we have guys standing by in our support department that will take your call, email, Facebook message, whatever, and we'll get you replaced. And that's pretty much it. I'm really excited to show you guys just how easy this is to put on and configure. So let's get started. We're going to present this installation on the V2 Street Fighter version, but the same steps will be required for mounting this entire system on a Panigale version of this bike. So no worries there. I have a vehicle specific harness here, couples up with our modulator, and now the connector to the taillight will disconnect and plug through here, completing this circuit, and the functionality will be then altered to whatever you program into here. Let's start the removal process by getting rid of the passenger seat. And we're going to grab a 4mm Allen, go behind these tips of the seat, remove the screws underneath here. There are 2 of them, one on each side. I typically just loosen them all the way, but leave them in the seat. Makes the reinstallation very easy. Next, I'm gonna grab a 3mm Allen and remove these 4 fasteners here. Now, there are 2 additional fasteners on this side here. If you follow my fingers, but to the outside of this fairing, same tool. Now, these fasteners here do have plastic washer, so please take a mental note. Those will be needed to return to these locations here. Same on this side of the bike. Now this entire top shroud should be free to come out. There is a tab from this assembly here that tabs into components we are taking off. So grasp, slightly bow out like this, take it off to the rear. Now we'll need to take out this fastener, this one, and this one up front. Each one of them is slightly different. So this one up here has a very shallow shoulder that sticks up. This one here has no shoulder. And this one here has a large shoulder. Now we will need to dislodge some friction fasteners. There are several of them up and down the side fairing here. They have a rubber grommet and a peg that fits through. So we progressively pull them out perpendicular to the center plane of the bike. 1, 2, 3. And there is one on this assembly here that engages with this grommet. So now we have given ourselves clearance here. And the connector for the tail light is right here. So this 3-position JST connector unlocks by pressing down on this tab here. Withdrawing it. I'm going to install the modulator harness in a plug-through fashion. Replace this in the keeper that the original connector came out of, and then we just need to route all the wires in a way that they don't bunch up. There's a good amount of space here under the red fairing, so we don't have to be too tight with the routing. This will suffice here. I like to get this larger plug under this wiring harness. That'll keep it in place, keep everything nice and neat. And now we do have a channel here that is built into the housing that is meant for a wire tie to lock it in place somewhere. The kit comes with 2 of these. We're only going to use 1. That's all that's necessary for this particular installation. I do like this location here and tie it off to this piece of harnessing, because when the seat engages with its places where it puts some of the load on, there is enough gap underneath here to house this without any adverse contact. So that's where we're going to put it. Now, if you're going to want to program and adjust all the light modes on board before getting this tied off, I urge you to watch the rest of this video, get all the methods down, make your adjustments, and then do this step. But this is the physical installation step in the video, so we will keep this at this time. It's tied off, it's not going anywhere. If you notice, I put the rubber grommet down and the rest of the body up in case there is some moisture that settles on this or water that flows through. It'll go down and won't have any chance of backing up through that grommet into the inside of the modulator. It'll be nice and safe in there. Let's give it a quick test. Make sure that we actually have proper function. Okay, that's good to go. I'm going to clip off the excess here. And from this point forward, the rest of the job will be the reverse order of disassembly. The most crucial component of the reassembly will be to get this component in. Now, the peg mount here for the passenger peg does have some protrusions that go up above where they mount, where this component mounts to the subframe. So in order to get these pegs into their grommets, you kind of have to get it up and around and then rotate in place. There's no real good way for me to illustrate that other than letting you know in words. So we're just going to perform it here. I'm going to align with the rear first, and then progressively towards the front, with that rotating motion being the most important in this area. The rest of this process is just going to be screw turning, so I'm going to skip the commentary and just perform the steps. When placing this seat down, it is very important to note that the wiring for your brake light modulator is now very close to where the seat tabs sit. I would like to demonstrate that before I tighten down fully, just to make you aware what pitfall you need to steer around. You have this wire right here. So what we want to do is make sure that it is passed around the outside of the mating surface. Here, you see this milled surface. This is the mating surface for this tab. Just need to make sure that this wiring is outside of this area and won't be clamped down. If you happen to clamp down on it, the vibration from the use of the bike and load from the rider being on the seat will likely tear through those and end up causing a short circuit at some point. This is a vital step that you don't want to miss. And that way you'll get the longevity of your equipment to what you expect. For mode selection and rate adjustment, we will need to get inside this capsule to access the electronics. These two Phillips head screws will need to be removed. What I like to do is unscrew them until they disengage from the receiving threads and leave them in the cap. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to lose them. If we pull them off with the cap, they are self-captive. All right, now we'll identify the parts here. This button is the mode selector, and this potentiometer is your rate adjuster. Clockwise is faster, counterclockwise is slower. Let's first do our selection of modes. With the brake pressed, press the button once to toggle to the next available program. Now the brake does have to be pressed so that the unit powers up, otherwise you won't be able to make the selection. If you find that you've pressed the button but the selection has not been changed, just do it again with the brake pressed. So now we will go on to the next program, press the brake once more, press the button once, and now you're in the next mode. Now we've switched twice, so pressing it one more time will return to the original mode that your unit arrived in. Now for rate adjustment, we'll be using the potentiometer. With the brake pressed, we can turn it clockwise to make it go faster, counterclockwise to decrease the rate. Now in Brake Alert, you will only have 9 flashes to make your adjustment, and then it'll stay solid. This one doesn't actually lend itself to really fast flashing at the top of the range. Bottom of the range is unusable, so I like to set it somewhere towards 3/4 to maybe 80% clockwise, and that does it for me. Now if we change to the next one, this one is pulsar, and this one just keeps on flashing, so I like to have it going pretty fast here. Choice is really up to you. If you want to explore the next mode, you have the intermittent pulsar. This one to me belongs somewhere close to the top of the range, makes it the most visible. But again, freedom means choice. The decision is ultimately up to you. Once you're done with your adjustment and you're where you want to be with all your modes and rates, replace the cap, turn the screws back in, and it really is just that simple. Replace your brake light modulator in the space that you decided to keep it, and you're good to go.